All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Football Amigos show. What an exciting time. I have the man that is on top of the table in front of me. We don't have Mr. Midday or Coach Midday today, but we would definitely talk about some exciting things that's been going on for all the football club. Hiyo, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be back on the show again, talking to you guys about soccer. So much has happened since the time I've been out. I've been like, oh my god, I can't wait for the next time I can have player on the show. We have so much to talk about.
Yeah, a lot of things have happened. We've seen Arsenal dipped a little bit. Uh, it's a little bit of dip. However, the score, the points, the distance between Man City and Arsenal is getting shorter. So it's nothing concerning if points were not at stake, but points are at stake, and everybody's starting to talk about, is this is going to happen again? The Arsenal is just going to lose the title, whatnot. But fortunately or thankfully, by the way, I'm rooting for Arsenal. Amigos, go check it out. I'm rooting for Arsenal. Fortunately, they won the London Derby. How are you feeling, Hayo? Tell us about your thoughts around the deep. What do you think happened? And now that things are uprising, how are you feeling? And coming, we're getting ready for the game against Chelsea as well.
It was a interesting game. Obviously going into this game, we had the disappointing result against Wolves, and so on paper we're significantly better. I think Tottenham are, what are they, 16th in the league, but they're at the bottom on fighting for against relegation for a reason. So normally we'd feel very confident. But on the back of the poor results that we've had, the two draws that preceded this, as well as a loss to Manchester United, obviously questions are being asked. And so the game started, and it looked like we started very, very well. We played our game, we created opportunities, and we limited their opportunities, and we scored our goal that I believe we deserved through great movement. And Eze obviously finding a way to score against Tottenham. And then 2 minutes later, it felt like the wheels went off. Declan Rice had the poor judgment, and he made a mistake that led to Kolomwani having a free run on goal, and Kolomwani put that goal away. And this was just another one in a long string of errors that have plagued Arsenal over the last few weeks. I mean, there was a time, Sam, we were on track to beat Chelsea's goal conceding record of 15. We were well on track to do that. And since then, we have just had so many self-inflicted incidents that I almost have a hard time explaining. But I mean, they're happening with regularity. And so we gave Tottenham a path into this game that they really didn't deserve. And so we went in on the break at 1-1. Also, the entire time I was so mad watching Gyökeres. I thought that nothing he was doing was working. I thought he was losing that physical battle against Dragusin. And I was mentally, giving up on him as an Arsenal striker. And then the second half came in and he sprung to life. And Arsenal sprung to life in response. And I saw what was arguably the best performance I've seen Gyökeres have in an Arsenal jersey so far this season. And I can get into tactics in a second, but just to talk about just the overall play, like obviously he scored 2 goals. And for the second days ago, he was instrumental in how he set the ball up, which created the advantage. And you could just see with Arsenal that we're starting to figure out how best to maximize the strengths and abilities of the newer players. And I mean Eze, and I mean Gyökeres, and even Hincapie, who was very critical in how we played as well. And so that was great to see. On a tactical basis, there are some things that were very different in how we approached the game. And secondary, how we approached the second half. One thing that was big to say was against Wolves, what was happening was, or in general, Timber actually was on the inside. So whenever we on your offense, we like to have five across the forward line, and so we the fullbacks come in to join the three attacking, and then the midfielders quarterback that. And Timber was actually always on the inside half space, and Saka kept the width or Madueke. And what we found so far is that Timber in having that space was a lot less effective. And so I was glad to see in the Tottenham game they actually swapped that around, where Saka was actually taking that interior space and Timber was holding the width. And I think it really affected our potency. We're able to create a lot more threat with Saka. And even though he did end up scoring or even getting that assist that I thought he ought to have gotten, he was a very influential player throughout that game. Now, going from the first half to the second half, one thing I loved that I saw that's an adaptation was that Gyökeres stops trying to fight his man. Stop trying to win that one-on-one battle, because he's been doing that this season. And in the Premier League, it's very, very hard to turn. Because in the Premier League, it's very physical. People hold each other. So to turn another player and have a run on goal, very few defenders are going to let you do that. And Gyökeres has been finding out that even the referees won't blow for fouls if you guys struggle and fall. Like, you just have to either win or disengage. And so what I found was in the second half, he stopped trying to really get that contact with Dragusin, who was a defender that was marking him, and try and turn him. He started dropping back. And so instead of going away from the ball, he started going to the ball a little bit more. And then what we changed with Saka and Eze was that we got them much closer to Gyökeres. So Gyökeres didn't have to try and control the ball too much. He didn't have to do something with the ball. All he had to do was be the conduit, the bounce passer. And so he started doing those simple touches. You pass the ball to me, I lay it up immediately, or I just connect. And he just did those simple things really, really well. And then obviously the wonder goal at the beginning of the first half that I think personally killed the game, as well as the final goal that put that stamp of approval at 4-1. But I really liked how Arteta moved Eze to be closer to Gyökeres. So we played more as a 4-4-2 in some extent, and how Gyökeres stopped getting drawn into battle. Winless battles with defenders. He just stopped. He just started creating that space. And some of that separation that he was creating was a key part as to why he was able to score that first goal as well.
Thank you very much for that. Speaking of battles, winless battles, do you feel like this season is when Arteta actually wins something? You know, you have the EFL Cup coming up against Man City, and you have Man City being the runner-up for the title race. How are you feeling? We know that Man City is going to at least try to steal one trophy from you this season, if not both. We hope it's not both. How are you feeling? Do you think this season Arteta's got a chance with, winning something? You are in Champions League, you are at the EFL final, top of the Premier League table.
Well, it's all up for grabs. There's absolutely no buffer. I mean, if Man City win their next game, they'll be back to within 2 points of Arsenal. Play equal amount of games. A final is a final. Anything can happen in a final. We know, it means nothing to be top of the Champions League table after the group stage. I mean, Liverpool was on top and they went out the very next round against PSG. So there's nothing that says Arsenal that can't happen to Arsenal. And the FA Cup is still too early to tell. We've seen we have played Mansfield, I believe, but we've seen bigger upsets throughout the FA Cup over the years. So I feel nothing is guaranteed. But I do feel like if there's a time we're going to do it under Arteta, it has to be this season. I would hope we can get either one of the Champions League and or the Premier League, or even both, if possible. While I would be happy to beat Man City in the League Cup, I personally feel like that's not really why we built this squad. We built this squad to challenge in Europe and to challenge for the Premier League title. And so, and not getting either of those two, I feel, would be a disappointment or a letdown. Getting both um, would be incredible. Yeah. Mhm.
Absolutely. My desire is for you guys to get the Premier League and the EFL Cup, not the Champions League. But I was having a conversation with an Arsenal fan. Shout out to brother Edie. Was it? Yeah, brother Edie, and we were having a conversation. I do think Arsenal's got a chance, stronger chance of getting the Champions League this season over the Premier League, because Champions League is more or less of a sprint, if I may put it. You have two legs game, a home and away. You can, if you don't do well this time, you can get it right next time. But the points, it's hard to pick up the points again, and you're running against Man City. But regardless, I don't think I won't be disappointed if you guys get the EFL Cup and Premier League, or just EFL Cup alone. I think Ateta needs some booster right now. Whatever you can get your hands on, the boys are going to be at least know that, okay, if we can get this tiny one or even this big one, we can get next couple of big things.
Yes.
But hey,
Yeah, if all
let's
we
take it
get
back
is the
to
EFL, Sam, like, I don't know.
you got to start
That's
from
not it.
somewhere,
Yeah.
man. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. So like you said, the team is built up for bigger things for Europe, European cups. But regardless, we have everybody competing for something. Wolves is competing for relegation, and that's why they were able to play like they're about to die against Arsenal, right? So you have battles everywhere. So, but let's take it back to the upcoming games, especially for the Premier League. You have Chelsea, you have
Mhm.
Brighton, and you have Everton. Chelsea is a home. Brighton is away. Everton is home as well. Of course, you still have Man City, Newcastle, and all of that. But talk us through your thoughts in 2-3 minutes. What your predictions are for these games?
Well, it's difficult. It depends on who's fit. I don't know if we can get Kai ready for Chelsea game, because I think that's going to be a very physical game, and we need our more physical players to manage those games, because Chelsea have a lot of runners. Chelsea have a lot of pace. Yeah, the youth and exuberance is there, and so we have to learn how to manage all of that. And I would just prefer if we had Kai to make that work. However, I do think that we did enough to beat them over the two legs that we played. The 3-2 that it ended up being, I believe, overall flattered Chelsea more so than us. And so I do think that we have the advantage, especially playing at home. It's just the Premier League. It's so hard to predict. I just hope we don't make any mistakes. So I'll predict 2-1 and see if we can take it home. If it really goes well, I'll say 3-1. With the Brighton game, I think Brighton are struggling. I think Brighton are looking lost. And so we have a good chance of getting a result. The only downside is that we're playing away with a midweek game in between. And so we will have to see, but I think we can beat them 2-0. I almost feel bad saying we're not going to concede, Sam, because it feels like every game we play, if we have to find a way to concede, whether or not the opponent deserves it or not. But that's, yeah, so I wouldn't even say 2-0. I'll say 2-1 as well. The Everton game, I think that would be a much more quiet game. I think that would be a much more cagey game, a game that we have to work really, really hard and have a lot of solutions with a goal to beat them 1-0 like everybody else, because I know it's going to be hard. They're not going to give you much. They're going to be so disciplined, and we have to be careful not to concede a silly goal and then get that advantage. It'll be difficult. These are all games on paper that should be winnable, but honestly, Sam, if we go through these 3 games with 3 draws, I wouldn't even feel bad, because that's just the nature of the Premier League. We just have Man City breathing over our shoulder, and so we know that every point dropped at this point is.
Yeah, you're right. It's the nature of the league, the game. Of course, every team will show up to want to prove a point, whatnot. Speaking of Everton, had a big battle with Man United. Benjamin Sesko scored that one goal, and like you rightly said, it's that one goal. They are so disciplined. I don't like Everton at all as a Liverpool fan. Um, and they're doing really good. Probably. Of course, they have not been so lucky to win games, to see games through. Man United is back in some form, shape. Have you been looking at their games lately?
Um,
After the West Ham, go ahead. Yeah,
I have been watching it intermittently. Um, I don't know what to say. I mean, is this what 5 games in a row or 4 games in a row?
yeah. I think they've won on that. What should I call it now? Carrick. They've won four.
Four.
They drew. They drew
Oh
one.
yeah, I forgot about that draw. Yeah, so not 5 draws, but I mean, it's a good performance. I don't know. Like, I want to give them a lot of credit, but honestly, Man United. I was looking at it the other day. I think the most of games they can play is 41 in a season, or 40 games in a season. Like, Arsenal's already played 41 games, and we still
Yeah.
have so much more to go. Like, Liverpool have already played. Like, Man City's playing so many games. Aston Villa's playing so many games, Chelsea's playing so many games. And so out of that pack that is up there, Man United get the benefit of a rest for an extended period of time in between games, and you can tell in how fresh they are. It's still good to see answers, to see impetus, to see the coach manage a team, because winning is hard in the Premier League under any conditions, and to string this amount of wins is good. But honestly, only time will tell. I would say though, it's like they now look like a shoe-in for the Champions League, because I do think that Aston Villa will drop points. I do think that Chelsea will continue to drop points and some of the teams around them. And if that keeps being the case, with the top 5 making it, I do see Man United being a good candidate to fill up those other spots.
Yeah, I agree. I think one thing about this new Man United that I like is the Onga is different for sure. You can see that there's a change, there's a shift. I think they want to play for the club, they want to play for the coach. You see Casemiro, you see everybody just bringing in the Ongas, in a different level. And I do like the formation as well. But I think just having Shesko come off the bench was a big booster for sure. So there's something up there that they're doing. In terms of Champions League, of course, I want them to get out of the race so I can get up there. They are 3 points ahead of Chelsea and Liverpool, which both teams got 45 each. And I do see Man United coming up. I'm trying to look at their upcoming games. They have Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Bournemouth. They have Chelsea. They have Leeds United, and they still have Liverpool, of course,
Oh
second,
yeah,
which is good. It's good.
that's gonna be
It's
fun.
gonna, it's gonna be fun. They beat us away.
What if like they
They beat
beat
us
you and
at
then you
home.
guys can't make Europe?
Oh, that game is gonna be blood for blood.
I think
Yeah,
Liverpool have made
but
made adjustments. I think Liverpool are a harder team to play through now. Um, I think they're a lot more compact. They cluster, they congest central areas. I don't think they can be blown apart in the way they were like in during that period earlier. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. But they still look a little
Yeah,
shaky. Look at the game against Nottingham Forest. The day it was in Nottingham.
yeah, that first half
Yes,
was
it was
scary.
Nottingham Forest. Man, big credit to Nottingham
Mhm.
Forest. They came in, they were ready to cook, and that's one thing you see in Premier League. If you don't take your chances, you
Oh
will
yeah.
regret not taking them. Um, there are so many chances, and Liverpool only had few, and fortunately had one or two chances towards the end that gave them some boosting and killed the game for them. But I mean, personally, I've written off this season. Whatever we get, I will be thankful for it. But speaking of the Liverpool gameplay, what I noticed that they've been doing central getting away from the left, which I think has been one of our problems as
Mhm.
well. Um, because there's a lot of ball wasting in that aspect, and I'm also seeing Kirkus, as he's a developed player now, he's getting better. He's also carrying the ball forward, allowing Cody Gakpo to get away from the left and move to the box. Not really a lot of conversion or in terms of goal from there, but I think it just tells us that the coach is doing something, thinking about things differently. But in terms of our Liverpool's upcoming game, Liverpool's got what do they have? Liverpool's got West Ham coming up. Gosh, we got West Ham. You've got Wolves. Then you have Tottenham. So my prediction in West Ham is going to be a win for us. Wolves is going to be a win as well, and Tottenham is going to be a win because everyone already beat Tottenham. um, so yes, exciting times. Anything that you want to chip in all of this exciting moderation?
Yeah,
Anything
I
you
know
want to chip in?
he would not stop talking about Man United if he was able to come on. So probably have to do
Yeah.
maybe a special session or just listen to him all of next week. Hopefully they draw before then because I don't think his ego can take another win. Nothing to
You will
add
see.
is
Come on, United! Come on, United!
we're so back.
I know.
It's nothing to to add. Just like the only thing that I'm sure about is that there'll be more twists and turns in this story. This is probably going to be the uh, lowest point tally to win the league in a while because it's just become so competitive. Liverpool had 84 points last season. My gut feeling is that that's probably going to be either about 84 or less to win the Premier League this season because it's just going to be competitive. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you didn't answer this question at the beginning, but I will ask you again. Is Arsenal ready to win the Premier League title? Are they gonna do it this season?
I don't know if they're going to do it. I want them to, but they are ready. I do think, mistakes aside, they are the best team in the Premier League. They just have to go out there and show it.
All right. My prediction, I think they will win it.
Well, I thank you for your show of confidence. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for thanking me, amigos. Like, share, and subscribe. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know your prediction. Is Arsenal going to get it this season? Let us know. Put your comment in the section where you put your comments, I guess. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of the day. See you next time.